Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. This is a wonderful, beautiful, amazing day that we get out into the world and make some really good things happen. My name is Jim Landers, and my mission is simple. I help portrait photographers like you create an income doing what they love, a fantastic income. Each week on the Portrait Profit Show, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales so that you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. I want you to go to Digital Pro Lab for a moment, real quick. Write this down if you don't know already, but I bet a lot of you do because I mention it every time. But I want you to go to digitalprolab.com. Yep, it's their name.com. They made it easy for you. And then go to landersphotoschool.com. I didn't make it quite so easy because I took off the graphy. It's Landers Photo School, where I have a lot of different options on classes where I specialize or focus more on the business side of photography. I do have photography classes as well because I've been teaching for a good while and I love it. You guys are awesome. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Now, a little housekeeping before you leave a comment, and we definitely want you to leave a comment or hit that like button or hit that love button or ask a question, but we want you to interact. And so do me a favor. You see this going across the screen right now here at the bottom. We use a platform called StreamYard, and StreamYard allows us to be able to simulcast this show to several different groups. So we're on 5 different Facebook groups, 2 different YouTube channels, and 1 LinkedIn page. And so this allows StreamYard allows us to be able to do that, but we can't monitor all those at the same time. So therefore, StreamYard brings them in if you give permission to use your name. So it may say something like Facebook user if you don't. And if you want to remain anonymous, then don't do what's going across the screen right now. But if you do, I'll know who you are, and I want to know who you are, and I hope you are interacting and asking questions. So StreamYard.com/Facebook is what gives StreamYard permission for me to see who you are. Now, I want you to share this the show with other photographers, because when we uplift the entire photography community, we are helping everyone out, including ourselves. It's not like we are growing in this small amount and no one's coming with us. Well, they are. You may as well bring them along because they'll stop having those ridiculously low prices that don't cause you to be able to make an income and a lot of other benefits. So share this with others. I'll put that on the screen real quick so that you can have a visual about what I'm talking about right now. And I want you to do me a favor, enter in hashtag live right now in the comments. That tells me that you're here. I can see several of you have done that already. Thank you for doing that. But enter in hashtag live. That tells me that you're watching right now. If you're watching this as a replay, do me a favor and enter in hashtag replay so that I can tell when you are watching it. So hashtag replay if you're watching it after it's gone live. If you're watching it right now with me, hashtag live. Hashtag live. And of course, hit that share button. You know, across the button, you've got across the bottom of the post, it says where you can hit the like and love. You've got comments, which I want you to use, and then you have share. I want you to use all 3 of them. Click that share button. Let other people know about this. And if there's some specific people you want to know about this show, then enter in into comments an @ symbol and then their name, and they'll get a personal invitation to the show. All right. Enough about that kind of stuff. That's fun, but I like getting to the subject that I've prepared for today. So I see that that I have an extra light on. I'm going to turn that off real quick. It'll take me just a second. There we go. That's how the lighting's supposed to be. And so that was an overhead light that was on that I guess I just forgot to turn off. All right. So today we are talking about how to make portrait photography equal success. And of course, we want to do that ASAP. We want this to happen right now. But we're bogged down with a lot of things that happen in our life that cause us some time commitments and things that we're doing that maybe we really shouldn't be doing, or to the extent that we're doing, time wasters. We're going to be talking about some of those things and the solutions for those things. I'm taking that off the screen real quick. So I was inspired to write this show today. In fact, a lot of the shows are inspired by either conversations or situations with the students that I work with, which are you or someone similar to you, or will be you at some point. But I was inspired to write today's show because of a recent conversation with one of my coaching clients, and it sparked an idea about the challenges that we face as professional photographers, especially when it comes to um, acquiring clients and building a thriving business. Obviously, that's going to be a subject that I speak with my clients, my coaching clients, a lot about. Um, but also without wasting so much of our time, because there's so many things that we do. And we'll talk about those here in just a moment. But there's so many things that really do take up our time that don't have to, or don't have to the extent that they do. And so that's what I want to talk about today. The That conversation that I had with that student highlighted some valuable insights that can truly transform your approach to your client workflow and attracted ideal clients. In our discussion today, we're going to be exploring how to make portrait photography equal success, and how to do that ASAP, as soon as possible, by analyzing specific points and expanding on them to provide you with actionable steps and practical strategies. Our focus will be reducing the fluff that steals our time, something that I struggle with myself, and shifting our attention to steps that have a direct impact on our goal of booking clients. We'll discuss the misconceptions of various marketing efforts, such as posting everywhere you can think of, handing out business cards, making amazing brochures, chasing social media likes, and the importance of your website. All these things are important, but to what extent and how much time should you be investing in them? We're going to be talking about that. By going into a little deeper each one of these areas, we will uncover alternative approaches that yield faster and more consistent results, and shifts our attention to the things that truly matter. And what is it that truly matters? Well, to each of us, it's a little bit different, but I'm going to generalize what it means in your business. It's the promise that you make to your clients, creating beautiful, meaningful images that they will be proud of. Throughout today's show, we'll go into key areas that impact your business growth. We'll explore effective ways to target and not only attract your ideal clients, but to cause them to enthusiastically seek out your services with a message that's going to be resonating with them. We'll also focus on leveraging the right marketing strategies and delivering exceptional experiences that keep clients coming back and sharing you with their friends. We're going to talk about it. We'll break it down into each of the steps needed to set up the strategy, and with simplicity and with quick results. As we progress through the show, I'll also lightly touch upon a private session that I'm offering that gives deeper insights into these strategies and provides a personalized guidance to maximize your success in your photography business. The majority of this discussion will revolve around providing you with valuable insights, actionable tips, and practical steps that you can implement today, right away. This isn't something that's good. Some things may take a little more time, but a lot of these things you'll be able to do today, implement them today. I know you're ready to make your business work. We are about to discover the shortest path to attracting your ideal clients consistently, elevating your photography business to your definition of success. So let's dive into the strategies that will empower you to make portrait photography equal success. ASAP. All right. So we're going to start off by talking about things that consume our time and the solutions to those things. All right. You got your notes, you got your notepads out and pen. If you're listening to this while you're driving, not watching, of course. Obviously, I don't want you to pull out your note paper and pen, but for the rest of you, I want you to. I want you to use some of these things right away. And so we professional photographers often invest too much time on certain things, aspects that have little impact on the ultimate goal of booking clients. Let's shift our attention real quick though to what truly matters. Yes, we have to book clients, but we've got to keep this mindset of what it is that we're doing, what's behind the action steps that we're taking. So the the thing that truly matters for us is the promise we make to our clients, creating beautiful, meaningful images that they will be proud of. I want you I want you to fill in your calendar, book your calendar completely out as soon as possible. So I want to discuss what you really don't need to do to acquire your clients so that you have time to do the things that you can and should do. And the things that I'm going to be bringing up, I'm not saying don't do them because they have a certain level of importance, but they may not be the thing that causes you to get to a full calendar very quickly. It actually causes the opposite to happen. We're going to discuss those. Um, I have 8 different things that I want to discuss with you. Uh, Things that don't bring in clients right away and the solutions that will. Here's the first one. Busy work that could be delegated. I get different reactions when I say this one to my students, but most of them are working by themselves. They don't have a team of 2, 3, 4, 10, 15 people to delegate things to. So their initial reaction is maybe he's not talking to me, or this doesn't apply to me, and maybe they think of something else. Their mind wanders somewhere else during this first part. So no, I want to bring your mind back to this. I am talking to those who just are a one-person show. That's who I'm talking to right now. I know some of you are reacting by saying, well, well, they're saying, well, it's just me. I have to do everything myself. While while there's certainly truth there, I'm not discounting that truth. This type of thinking absolutely causes businesses to fail. There's a lot of things that cause businesses to fail, and it's usually not just one thing. I have seen one thing do it before lots of times, though, like pricing that's too low to even cause you to make a profit. Basing pricing based on feelings, that's just not how business works. But we photographers are using feelings to be able to create our work. So we're applying that thing that we know to things that it shouldn't be applied to. The prices that you charge have nothing to do with how you feel about them. They're just a tool to help you get what it is that you want out of this life, cause you to be able to move forward in the direction you want to head. So responsibilities such as bookkeeping, uh, paperwork, filing, if you do that, social media marketing, scheduling appointments, all of these can take way too much time unless you've employed some tools to help that, to make that not happen. So here's the solution: delegate or outsource tasks whenever possible. Again, some of you are thinking, delegate, Jim, it's just me. I have no one to delegate to delegate to. Guys, open your minds. You do. You absolutely do. Even with a one person business, you can delegate, you can outsource work uh, to somewhere else. You can, and you should. And you may think, well, I don't have enough money to do that. I hear you. Your prices are probably too low. Whose fault is that? If you plan these things into your pricing, you have enough money to get it done. So stop it with the excuses that I am the only one and I have to do it all. No, you don't. And you probably will cause yourself some problems if that's the mindset you stick with. You have to get some people to help you. There's way too many things to do. And you're not spending your time doing the things that you love the most if you're not delegating or outsourcing. I consider that thinking small. If you are not open-minded to delegating, outsourcing, and that kind of thing, because you have to. Now, there's some things you've got to do yourself. I get it, but not everything. If you're not outsourcing something, you have some room to grow. You just do. So while you might not have the ability to hire a bookkeeper, an accountant right now, it should be part of your plan. Your prices must include enough to cover those costs. Besides, do you prefer bookkeeping over photography? Come on. Of course not. So get out of the bookkeeping business as soon as possible. And that's just an example. There's a lot of things I want you to get out of the business of. And let's talk about scheduling. If you've not begun using software to automate your scheduling, what decade do you think this is? Automated scheduling has been around for about 2 decades. You need to use that tool. Now, there are absolutely some things that you need to do yourself, even in scheduling world. But there are many advantages to automating your scheduling that it makes it where there really are few excuses to not start doing this today. If it needs to be done, but it doesn't need to be done by you, make a plan to offload that work, outsource it, delegate it ASAP to free up your time for meaningful work. By the way, if you don't have a plan of what it is you're heading towards, you may have difficulty defining what that means. This is something that I help with because we creators definitely have problems there. It's not that we don't have the ability to comprehend it, because once it's brought to the attention once I bring this to my students' attention, they actually handle it extremely well, as if well, how did I not think of that before? Well, they probably did, but the minutia, the millions of things that are going on in your life need to be done now. And if you're thinking of what needs to be done right now, you're going to get in the mindset of, well, I can just do it myself. It'll only take me 2 minutes. It winds up taking 15, but still you have that thought at first, I can just knock it out right now. And a lot of times that is the way to go, but it is almost always the mark of someone who hasn't properly planned. Because it's not about doing it right now. It's about forming a system to allow it to be done easier and with less time over time, not just this one time. Another example of stop thinking small. Number 2, by the way, if this is resonating with you, will you do me a favor, go over to the comments and tell me? Let me know. I see several of you've commented already, and I want to see more of that. By the way, whatever page that you're on, you only see the others who are on that particular page. I'm the only one that can see the accumulation of everyone. And so if I make a comment about someone's post and you look through them, you're like, I don't see that one. Yeah, you might not, because it may be on one of the 8 other pages or 7 other pages, total of 8, that we are simulcasting to. So if this is resonating with you, if this is helping to you, we just type in yes over in the comment section. Now, if there's something specific you want to share it. I want to hear it. All right. So this one really is still the first one, but man, it needed to be separated out when I started thinking about it, because it's really easy to justify. The other things I mentioned are easy to justify too, but I've seen too many examples of this not to separate it out and spend some more time with it. This one is busy work disguised as research or and strategy. This is a part. th- This is part of point number one above. However, it needs its own point because some seemingly important tasks, like analyzing metrics and doing market research, researching apps, different software, uh, make you feel productive, and they all need to be done. But it's real easy to spend way too much time in the research phase that it is not translating into results. And I have seen individuals who are spending so much time on research that they've got this business idea and it sounds great, and they have really everything in place to get it started today, tomorrow. But they're spending weeks, if not months, in research. Guys, that's not the shortest path to getting your schedule booked, to getting income. That is a delay tactic. But you are in your mind, you're saying, you're justifying that this is something that needs to be done because research does need to be done. But I've seen so many times when it was overdone and done poorly usually, and even still. So there is so much information that you can find on the internet and visiting with friends and other photographers that you could spend every bit of your time on that one task alone. And you're justifying it. It probably feels right, or like you have to do it, like it's due diligence. So this is why I said busy work disguised as research and strategy. All right, solution. Limit the time that you invest into research and analysis and prioritizing taking imperfect action. If everything is perfect, you planned too much. You spent too much time getting it ready. Now, that doesn't mean just jump before doing any planning and research. It obviously doesn't mean that. At least I hope that's obvious. But I don't want you to get it to perfection and then roll it out. That's overkill. That takes way too much time. And besides, you're a creative. You're going to look back at something and find something that could be changed or tweaked. So therefore, you can never reach perfection. So just get it good enough, and your clients are going to be happy, and so are you, because the amount in your bank account increases. We kind of like that as business owners. Here's an even stronger solution. Set a timer while you choose to do your research. Ahead of time, think about how much time should I invest into this research, this analysis, this time that I'm spending. How much time should it get? This hopefully will avoid overthinking, going in directions that you don't need right now. By the way, as you research, I do this all the time. As I'm researching, I find lots of things that I am interested in also. And if I don't have something set, if I don't have like an appointment that causes me to stay focused on my subject, I will travel down those other paths because they are interesting to me. And I do often find something that I can use. Maybe something that I can use as a topic for the Portrait Profit Show. Maybe something that I can use in my business. So I'm not saying those things are bad. I'm just saying keep it into perspective. Give yourself a time limit. So set a timer. How much time am I going to invest in this? Schedule an appointment for right afterwards where you're forced to stop. Default to moving quickly versus developing complex plans that are not missing any details. So, all right. And I do this myself. I'm guilty of complex plans, trying not to miss any detail, trying to think everything through, like the annual San Antonio photography tournament that I, with along with about 40 other local photographer volunteers, helped put together. We put together a kids version, ages 5 to 15, that just happened yesterday, which was so fun. It was hot, really hot, but it was a lot of fun, and the images were beautiful. And then we have the version that happens for the older kids, so 12 and up, 12 to 112. So that probably means you. in October, on October 22nd. So these things, they take a lot of, when you put it, I don't, probably a lot of you have put events together, that they take a lot of details. There's a lot of moving parts. And so you wind up with these very complex plans that are attempting not to miss any details. So I get it. But for your business, you are going to need to reduce that. You're going to purposefully start before it's perfect. Imperfect action is what's going to cause you to succeed and reach your goals. Number 3, by the way, if this is helping, do me a favor. Tell me. Go over to the comments section. Tell me it's helping. Tell me I am guilty of that, or that I know what you're talking about. I can relate. Let me know something. Tell me in the comments section. So and I haven't even gone over there to see what those are, so I better do that real quick. I want to do some. Cool. So I am looking at several different cool comments. A lot of good people here. Liz and Robin, and who else is here? You guys, if you haven't already, do me a favor and enter in #live. That tells me that you're here watching live. #live. Let's see. Hey, Wesley, glad you're here. And there's a bunch of Facebook users. You guys either wanted to remain anonymous or that link wasn't working. I don't know. But I am so glad that you guys are here. All right. So I see one person that says this is helpful. Thank you. I'm glad that this is helpful to one person. Guys, do me a favor. Enter in "it's helping" in the comments section if you feel like what I'm sharing is helping. If you don't, well, don't lie. I'm not asking you to lie. But right now, there's only one person that thinks this is good. So maybe I need to move on to the next section, because I don't know if this is helping, though. Anytime that you hear something that you like, comment that in the comment section. I like seeing that. And also hit that like button or that love button. They kind of empower me or fuel me. That I'm going to keep on doing what I do because I love it. But it sure makes me feel good to see that you guys love it too. All right, so let's move on to the next section, number 3 of 8, posting everywhere without a strategy. Now, I'm not saying your social media posts are a bad thing. They're not. None of these things I'm mentioning are bad things, but they can be so time-consuming that they become bad. Or how about they're still good, they're just not right for what you're trying to accomplish. You guys who've watched this show for a long time have heard me say something along these lines, because I say it so many times. Think of this as a road trip. When you go on a road trip, it's because you've had an inspiration or you want to go visit someone, to go somewhere. So you are traveling from point A to point B because you've defined you want to go to point B. It may be because you want to see something. You want to go to a restaurant that you heard about, or go see a show, or visit a friend. There's a lot of reasons why B pops up into your head. You're at A, you're going to B because you have a reason, but you got this road trip. You have defined where you're going. And in defining where you're going, you give yourself potential to get there. Failure to define where you're going causes you to wander, causes you to struggle. If you are struggling right now, it's probably because you haven't defined where you're going. You're just wandering on all the good roads instead of taking the right roads to get you to point B. This is the same for your business. You must define where it's going. And so therefore, you've got to start off with your own personal life. Where are you going? What do you want out of this life? You've got to give yourself a place to go in order to give yourself potential to get there, because that's what causes you to be able to have a plan that works for you, that is the difference between good and right. The difference between successful photographers is not choosing the difference between good and bad. That is the definition of failure, if that's all you're doing. The path to success is knowing the difference between the good things and not doing them because you are doing the right things. And the only way to know what's right, there's one way: defining where you're going. So we want to have a strategy when we post. You know, it's great to be seen everywhere, and at least by your target market. And of course, on social media is not the only way that I'm thinking of, but because this is the subject, that is what I'm talking about for this particular one. But I'm going to relate it to something else. So it's great to be seen anywhere. I love it when a client tells me, I see you everywhere. You probably like it too if you've heard that. But the reason they say this to me is because I know my target market and I make sure to put myself in their path. That way, I only wind up with my ideal clients. It's tempting to try to blanket social media with your content, with your updates, because you can have some level of success doing it. But using your time to post on every platform in every group is so time consuming that, like I mentioned about research above, you could spend all your time on that alone and still not do everything that's possible. Therefore, another example of a large amount of time with a small amount of payoff. Solution: focus on one or two platforms and two or three groups where your ideal clients are active. Create content specifically tailored to them. Therefore, you have to define who your target market is. Maybe even create a client avatar or two or three or four. Here's some more solutions. Use automation tools. I've mentioned these to you in past shows, and I'll share with you a couple of them here again today. By the way, go back to past shows to find more, because there's one where I included quite a few. All right, buffer.com. This allows you to schedule social media posts in advance across platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter, or should I say X, since Elon Musk announced this change yesterday. Did you hear that news? You probably did. I assume you did. Twitter now goes by X. He announced it yesterday. There were rumors that this was going to be happening, but the official announcement was made yesterday. Hootsuite, and this is one that I use, but this one is not the least expensive option. It's a good one. There's some others that are probably equally as good, and you can see those in past episodes of this show. But social media management platform for scheduling posts, engaging with followers, and tracking performance. How about MailChimp? There's a lot of you that use MailChimp for your email and for your database. So this connects your apps and services to help automate repetitive, email service that lets you schedule and automate campaigns. And then Zapier. Zapier is kind of it's a tool that causes your different platforms to be able to talk to each other. And so this isn't a standalone, this is a bridging tool, but it connects your apps and services to help automate repetitive tasks. For any of this to have the optimal effect, you must have a strong description of who your target market is. Maybe even take the time to create 2 to 4 client avatars. And that's just an extremely detailed description of an individual who is imaginary, but who defines who it is that you want to have as a client. That way you can strategically leverage automation to streamline posting across platforms. This focused approach saves you time and is a more consistent method for connecting with your prospects. Let's move on to number 4 of 8. Chasing social media likes and follows. All right. It does feel good, but likes don't convert to clients. You probably will get a lot of people liking your page that will never be a client. Some of them are. But I don't think it should be something that we should focus our attention on, because that kind of just happens and there's other things you really should be devoting your time to. But instead of chasing likes and follows, focus your attention on building genuine connections and delivering value to your audience. Get to know them. Call them by their first name, and they call you by your first name. Building a social media following takes significant time and effort. It does. It's not easy. It might be fun. You may enjoy it. And if you enjoy it too much, you might spend too much time doing it. But more followers and likes doesn't necessarily translate into sales. Solutions. Provide targeted content, value that matters to your ideal clients, useful content, special offers, entertaining or educational information, using the automation that I just described. So you're not typing this out every single time and going to every single platform and posting it. You're doing it once in a planning software to make it happen. And you're doing it in advance so that it drops when you want it to. Reply promptly to comments and questions so that you can build strong relationships. Seek out strategic partnerships and collaborations. Measure success by conversions driven and relationships strengthened. Now, that may be a hard metric, but it is the personal connection that drives clients to portrait photographers. If they don't like you, they're not going to work with you. Spend your limited time developing clients. All right, number 5, your website. Now, please don't misunderstand me about websites. I do believe that you need a website. But if you don't have one, or if you think it needs work, you're embarrassed by it, it's old, you haven't updated your photographs. I hear you. And maybe you need to update your photographs, but too much attention spent on your website is often not the best use of your time, assuming that your goal is to get some business booked ASAP. Although it's a good tool, a website is not a prerequisite for acquiring clients. A landing page, or as some call it, an opt-in page, combined with a thank you page, is really all you need for lead generation. Here's a solution. A landing page with a simple goal, such as capturing contacts in exchange for maybe a lead magnet, like a free guide, a tip sheet, a consultation. Then create a simple thank you page that nurtures leads and directs them to book appointments or purchase or whatever it is you want for that next step to be. And I'm going to give you 3 options. HubSpot is one. They have a free version, but you're probably going to need their paid version. So HubSpot and HubSpot.com. But to get to their specific landing pages, I'm going to put this in. I'm not going to read it out because this is long. I'm going to put this in comments. They won. All right. So, and I'm going to. What? All right. So that's fine, but that's not what I thought. Oh, I see. Here's what I intended to put. All right. So this is HubSpot. I'm going to send 2 more. Lead Pages and MailChimp are the other 2. All right. So those should be coming across on your platform right now. So that could be Facebook, that could be YouTube, or that could be LinkedIn. But these are some links to landing pages. You're probably already familiar with what a landing page is. You may have some software solutions that take care of that where you don't need something else. But if you're not familiar and you want to become familiar with landing pages really quick, here's some links for you to take a look at. So having an established online presence, that's great. But don't let launching a full website stall your client acquisition. Start lead generation through a focused landing page so that you have a quicker payoff. Number 6 out of 8. Don't obsess over your business card. A lot of you aren't worried about this one, but there's a few. Every once in a while, I come across someone, and every time I see them, they have a new business card. that person is spending too much time with their business cards. Business cards are great. There are other tools that make it where you don't necessarily have to have one, but it depends on your target market. So business cards do remain a standard for networking and making introductions, which is interesting because a lot of things have faded away. Business cards are still here. For some target markets, though, you must have a business card. But for most target markets, business cards won't make or break a sale. But spending time trying to make the perfect card design wastes time. The primary purpose is exchanging contact information. So a fancy card doesn't really matter that much. For a moment, someone's going to say this is cool, but what are they going to do with it? If they collect the information off of it, they probably will throw it away at that point. So I like those cool metal cards. They are cool. And I do think that some people won't throw them away because of that. And that may be a reason to invest in those instead of other ones. I get it. I'm not going to. So, I order my business cards through either a local printer or something like Vistaprint, and there's what mine looks like. So, just in case you were curious, you can do a screenshot if you want to, but this is, you wouldn't use that same thing for your photography business because that's for my teaching. But it has certain information on it. On the backside, I should have showed you that, but on the backside, it has a QR code to my link tree, which has several different links that they could go to. Now, as you know, the primary purpose of a business card is to exchange information. So resist your creative urge to make everything perfect, to tweaking the font, to changing the color scheme, deciding where your logo goes or other design elements, the thickness of the card. Resist that urge. Here's the solution. A basic, clean design with your name, business name, phone number, email, and website really is all that's sufficient. There may be a reason why you have some other things on there. I have been impressed, though, by some really simple cards. I was talking to someone who wound up being incredibly independently wealthy. Didn't know that at the time, but his business card had his name and his phone number, and that's it. A massive amount of white space. Small name, small phone number. That was it. I was pretty impressed by that card. How simple it was. How he didn't need those extra things. It reminds me of something that someone said to me about a little over 2 decades ago, which is surprising that I remember it when I sometimes don't remember what I had for lunch or breakfast yesterday. But I remember this. It made an impact on me because he said the person with the fewest keys on their keychain is the leader. Now, at first, I actually didn't understand that. I was like, what do you mean? But he said, who has the most keys? The maintenance person has the most keys. Who has the fewest? Yeah, probably the CEO. Because they don't need all the keys. Someone else is taking care of that for them. You're the CEO of your business. Consider those keys to be all the tasks that you have to do. And give those to someone else to do it for you. Spend time networking and building connections. Not obsessing over miscellaneous things like business cards or how pretty the business card is. I know it's important to you. I get it. Me too. But man, it's a time waster. And it impresses people for this long. And then that's about it. I throw away business cards once I've collected the information on them. Sorry, guys. I know a lot of you have spent a lot of time on your business cards and you handed it to me thinking that I would keep it forever. I'm sorry to disappoint you. If I didn't have some information that was on it, I added it to my database and then I threw it away. I don't collect them. I actually did for a while. Wound up with a huge box full of them. Never again. Not going to do that. All right. Consider alternate options. I mean, I mentioned simple business cards. That's great. I think you should have them. But what about alternate options? Create an info card highlighting your services and benefits with images and testimonials, and focus on your value proposition versus your contact details. You still have those on there, but that's not what's prioritized. I'm going to spend a little bit more time with info cards uh, in the next one. There's 8 of them. 7's the next one. It's on brochures. Just letting you know ahead of time. I'm going to spend a little more time with creating info cards in just a moment because that's important. So, teaser. Second option are those NFC cards, the near field communication. If you're wondering what NFC stands for, doesn't really matter. But it's a card. It looks like a business card. It doesn't have to, but they generally do. But it's something you don't hand out. It's something that you take the card and you place it on the back of their phone. And for Apple, it's up here near the top. For Android, it's right here in the middle. So make sure you're paying attention to that, because if you are used to Apple products and you put your NFC card up to the top, it won't read it, and you'll wonder what's wrong. Well, it's because the reader's in a different place. It's a near field communication. You have to have it almost touching. It doesn't have to touch, but pretty much practically. There's also RFID cards, which are doing about the same thing. But I really focusing my attention more right now just those NFC cards, because they have that chip that allows instant sharing of contact details when tapped on a smartphone, rather than exchanging traditional cards. So you're just simply asking your prospects to tap your card, or you tap your card onto their phone, and it just adds to their database on their phone. Now that's just on their phone. If they use their phone a lot, then that's very beneficial to them. If they're sitting at uh, their laptop or their desktop at home, this may not help them as much as you think it does. So it's not a matter of one or the other. I would say both, and use them as appropriate. Right. There's a bunch of places you can get NFC cards. Just do a Google search and you'll find them. If you guys want the handout, I've got a handful of different links on here. So reach out to me if you want the handout. But otherwise, just do a research, do a Google search. You'll find what you need for NFC cards. They're fantastic. Number 7, brochures. All right. I created brochures early on in my business. Those trifold with that have a whole lot of information that you can put on because they have a lot of space. It's a full 8.5 by 11 size sheet of paper, which here in the U.S. is called standard. It's not the same in other places, but uh, I did this early on, and I really felt good about it. I mean, I felt good about handing them out. It was never the reason why I got a sale. It was really more of a feel good for me, is what it wound up being. I mean, people would look at it and say, "Cool," but it wasn't a thing. I'm not recommending that portrait photographers do this. There may be a reason why you should, and if you have a specific reason, then I probably would, it probably makes sense. But generally speaking, we don't need that. I see, um I recommend that you do the info card that I mentioned just a moment ago. So let's go a little bit more into detail about it. I see an info card as the best of both worlds versus the brochure and the the business card. This is the best of both worlds, in my opinion. And so these 5x7 cards on cardstock can highlight your services, display images. You can have testimonials, and I think you should. Every time you have an image, have a testimonial with it. And it gives you an opportunity to direct your prospects to take some kind of action, whatever it is that you want them to do as the next step, all in a compact, easy to use, and multiple use format. Multiple use meaning you could create it in a way that you could use it for mailing purposes too. And in one of my classes, E3, well, I go into it a little bit on E3. In my essential marketing class, I go into it quite a bit, where we actually create info cards. And this is something that's even better than a business card to hand out because it's got more information on it, more space. Now, number 8 of 8. Sharing who you are and what you do. While it's important to do that, it's not is often not a deciding factor for clients. Now, there are times when it is. So if you went to Texas A&M University in College Station, you may work with a person simply because they are also an Aggie graduate. I hear you. I get it. There are times when stating the things that you do matter. And I think that you should do it. However, the things that you do, the things that you've accomplished, I'm going to give you an example of one that really doesn't do much for me. I have a degree in photography. I'm proud of it. I like that I have it. I like being able to say that I have it. But I don't mention it every single time. I don't mention it probably most of the time. If it's appropriate, I think I will. But my degree in photography has, to my knowledge, has never been the reason why someone hired me. So when marketing your business, convey the results and value you provide to them rather than just stating what it is that you have done or what tools that you have to do your work or what services you offer. I've seen many photographers list what they can do on their website. I've seen photographers say, I specialize in, and then I counted the number of things that they specialize in. I saw one that was 27. What a creative definition of specialize, only from a creative. Guys, we're unusual people. I love you, creatives. I am one, but man, we sometimes do some strange things. All right. So while I've seen photographers make those lists of the things that they do on their website, on their marketing materials, I've seen them tell who they are and what they do on their About Me page. And I'm not saying that any of that is bad. It's needed. It needs to be there, but it isn't all that needs to be there. And because if you fail to show how what you do will impact the life of the client, then you are missing out on a big opportunity to get people to work with you. Your prospects don't care how much about what you do. They don't care as much about what you do as what you can do for them. And you know this, but when I look at some of your marketing materials or your websites, you know it. You say you know it, but you aren't doing it. What problem you solve, how they will feel better once it's solved, or what joy you'll bring into their life as a result of working with you. These are the things you want in your marketing message. So here's the solution. Instead of saying we offer photography services, convey the result. And when you describe what you do, be sure to bridge what you do with the outcomes, the transformations, the feelings that your work provides. You want an example? All right, let's give you an example. We expertly document those fleeting moments of real human emotion. The tender glance exchanged with grandma, the uncontrollable giggles of the kids, the way mom looks at dad. I make vivid visual memories with the future in mind because my images transport you back to the raw joy and the love you felt the day those photographs were created. Now tell me over in the comments section, did that have more impact than a list of the things you have the ability to press the button in front of? Now, I know that's not what all of you do. There's a lot of things that portrait photographers do. So you tweak that to make it your own. But which one has more impact? A list or the emotion one feels from working with you. You know, and if that description wasn't enough, let's one up that description by backing up your claims with reviews, testimonials, and images from your clients. Focus your message on the value delivered, the services themselves, and the services themselves are just the means, or as I like to call it, the tools to provide those results. Lead with the outcomes your clients want, not just the details of your business. That might be important to you. It's less important to them. Create an emotionally evocative message that conveys the value that they're going to feel working with you. Go beyond cliches and generic claims. Man, I have seen you photographers are creative, yet you're saying the same exact thing on your websites as the next person. And I know you've gone to visit other websites. How is it possible you're doing that? Come on. Go beyond the cliches and generic claims and craft your messaging to truly resonate with your ideal client. Now, a couple more things. Those were the 8 that we talked about that I mentioned I was going to share. But let's talk about attracting your ideal clients, because I want them to enthusiastically book you, and you do too. Imagine ideal clients eagerly seeking you out, reducing your struggles, all from the power of knowing specifically where you are going, just like a road trip that I mentioned earlier. It's not an overnight success story. It requires some initial setup, but once you have it dialed in, the simplicity and results make it happen. They're unparalleled. Random, unstructured marketing activities rarely convert prospects efficiently. I'm not saying you won't get business, because you will. You'll get enough to struggle. Is that what you want? Successful customer acquisition requires a planned system designed to take you where you want to go. 4 things I want you to think about here. Clearly define your ideal client. Identify their demographics, challenges, goals, their motivations. Number 2, define where those prospects are, both online and offline in real life. Get active in their communities on social media, forums, publications, and events. Become a familiar, helpful expert. Number 3, create irresistible lead magnets, free guides, trainings, consultations that offer value tailored specifically to their needs. Number 4, of 4, implement automated and personal outreach sequences to nurture leads until they eagerly convert into clients. With clarity on your ideal client and a system to connect with them, you will attract. It'll feel like magic. You'll attract prospects magically versus trying to chase them. Those of you who have watched my show many times will have heard me say, don't seek the seekers. Now, that was very specific to when a client is posting that they need a family portrait, they need a wedding. They post online that they're looking for a photographer. If you're seeking those seekers, then you aren't doing your marketing correctly. You need some help. It's what I do. Clearly, if you are seeking the seekers, you have some improvement. And you haven't done it yet. So reach out to me, because this is what I do. I make it where you're looking at those and you kind of giggle because of the 40, 60, 80 other photographers who are seeking the seekers. What in your mind is telling you that those clients are going to look at all 40, 50, 60, 80 of you? They're not, guys. How is that not wasting your time? Maybe it makes you feel good because you're doing some effort towards client acquisition. Guys, that's not the way to do it. When you're starting off, I see that as being a viable option, but you are not going to see the best photographers in a crowd, which is where you've just placed yourself. And you're the same photographers who ask me, how do I stand out from the crowd? by not doing things to put you in the crowd. There's a starter. Come on. All right, closing thoughts. As small business owners, by the way, I'm going to share something that I'm going to do for you guys here in just a moment, a 45-minute coaching session. Excuse me. Well, before I do that, as small business owners, we all get bogged down in minutia, just the little million things that we have in our lives. But remembering to stay focused on your unique system of managing your time and energy for maximum business success. Have a plan. Discipline yourself to execute it and direct your efforts only to the high impact tasks. Again, the only way you're going to know that is by defining your destination, where you're heading. You won't know how to do that if you don't define where you're going. And the majority of you have never defined where you're going. I have found I've crossed paths with very few photographers who defined where they're going. It just doesn't happen very often. But once it's brought to your attention, it opens up your mind and you're not lost anymore. You become more focused. Define your ideal client, identify where to connect with them, create compelling marketing content tailored specifically to their needs, and nurture those leads systematically. Streamline or outsource repetitive, low value work. Set limits on endless research and analysis. Simplify and automate tasks like social media. Getting caught up in busy work is human, but with concentrated effort on the right revenue driving activities, you will grow your business and achieve your goals, your entrepreneurial dreams. The minutia can wait. It can be delegated, but capitalizing on your most important opportunities cannot, because your future depends on it. All right. I have an offer for you to work with me. So I want to ask you this question. Do you want some hands-on help implementing these strategies that we've just been talking about? I can help you in a whole lot shorter period of time than you can do it yourself, because I've done it so many times. So therefore, if you value time, I'm a good solution. As a special offer to my Portrait Profits friends, I'm making myself available for a private 45-minute coaching session via Zoom or phone. And it's $80. We can focus on decluttering the minutia and building a system to constantly attract your ideal clients. I only have space for 25 though. So I don't have an endless number of these. I've got other things going on. So I've got 25 sessions and that will fill my calendar for this. Now I might open it up again in the future, but right now my calendar allows for 25 of them. So you need to act fast on this. And by the way to do this is simple. Just send me an email, jim@landersphotoschool.com or jim@landersphotography.com. But send me an email and I'll respond with more information so you can choose to see if this is right for you. So jim@landersphotoschool.com. Let's chat one-on-one and unlock your true business potential. I'll help you establish clarity and execute a plan to take your photography business to where you haven't seen it before, where you want it to be. So I'm encouraging you to schedule your personalized private 45-minute session today and discover the path to focusing on what matters most. I encourage you to reserve your spot now before they're gone. So send me an email right now, jim@landersphotoschool.com. I look forward to helping you simplify and succeed on your photography journey. All right. As you know, we do the Portrait Profit Show every single week. So I want to tell you what's coming up next week. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So next week, and it's at noon every single Monday, with the exception of the second Monday of every single month, where we move it to 6:30 and do a panel. But next week is the regular time. It's the last Monday of the month, July 31st. And so let me put that on the count. Where is there? It is. All right. So this is Monday, July 31st at noon. We're talking about creating a landing page that brings in clients. It's one of the topics we brought up today. We're just going to go into a lot more information about how to do it, why it's important, all these different variables that are going to help you actually make this happen. Because talking about it is one thing. There's a lot of things you guys have talked about or heard about or researched and done nothing about. Let's get this one done. Let's create a landing page for you during class. Let's talk about how to make it done. You're going to have, or during the show, you're going to have to do it on your own after the show. But these are going to be the steps that you need to take, the considerations that you want to have, and ways to get it done for free, at least maybe a trial. So I'll include all that stuff in next week's show, noon, July 31st. Put it on your calendar. Can't wait to see you here. So today we've been talking about how to make portrait photography equal success and do it ASAP. I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you've gotten something valuable out of this discussion today. If you have, do me a favor, go over into the comment section and tell me. It could be as simple as, thanks, Jim. I appreciate that. I can use this. But when you send those testimonials, that's what it is at this point. If you're saying thank you, it's a testimonial. I'm going to post those at the end of this show so that you can see them. So do me a favor right now. Go to the comment section and just say something as simple as, this is good. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. Can't wait for the next one. Whatever it is that you want to say. I'm giving you an opportunity right now before I close out the show, because I won't be able to see it after that. You'll be able to still write it, though. But if you do it within the next few moments, I'll be able to see it before I close out the show, because we're about to do that for Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab. This is Jim Landers bringing you the weekly Portrait Profits Show, helping you excel in your portrait photography business through valuable tips and insights, helping you stay on track towards the success that you deserve. Join us every Monday for evolving content as we unravel the mysteries of the business side of photography. I appreciate you guys being here. Bye for now.